Blessings, friends. This is Bishop Andre Woods, your host today for This Is My Story. It's always a joy and a privilege to greet you and meet you. And today is a very special day. We got a very special guest we're going to be sharing with you. And what I want you to do as we prepare, I want you to like and share. Those of you that may be joining us, if you care to, you can start your own watch parties. And certainly, the information going to be provided. You'll be able to see this and then share this along with us. We invite you to join us in the comment section as we go through the program today. And I want you to help me welcome our very special guest. I'm going to read some information today. Today, our guest is Kelly Fair, the CEO of Polished Pebbles of Chicago, Illinois. And once you hear this impressive, this is just a drop in the bucket of this impressive bio. You understand why I'm excited today to share this information with you today. Kelly Fair is the founder and executive director of the Reflections Foundation and the Polished Pebbles Girls Mentoring Program, nonprofit organizations that enhance life skills, career readiness, and leadership ability of girls and young women. She is the author of They Are the Same Girl, and Every Girl is a CEO. She's an award-winning social entrepreneur who advocates for girls, women's mentoring, and workplace pipelining. Kelly, a trained speech pathologist, began her innovative career directing college prep and work study programs, which she created for urban high school and college students. Next, she worked on the development and marketing of national literacy programs impacting the lives of children from early childhood to middle school. Because of this experience, Kelly saw a gap in the girls-centered programming to help them build strong communication skills at home, at school, and in preparation for the future workplace. This led her to start Polished Pebbles. In 2019, Polished Pebbles celebrated its 10th anniversary. The program, which started with 2 mentees, has now engaged more than 3,000 girls across 100 different program sites and has raised some total of $2 million plus for parenting programs and partnering with schools and communities. All right. Though widely known as the mentor, Charlie's true gift is unleashing a girl's innate greatness so she can live her best life now and in the future. Mentoring plays a big role in Kelly's Girls, the great model, and does instruction, visualization, and practice and partnerships. Kelly is a graduate of Howard University and the University of Iowa with honors. Her work on behalf of girls and young women have earned recognition, including Duke University Women's Center National Impact Award, ROSLYN JAFFE Award, the Bank of America Global Ambassador, DUSABLE, I think they said that right, DUSABLE Museum, Margaret Burroughs Trailblazer Award, and the Push Excel Youth Mentoring Award. Kelly currently serves on the U.S. Congressional Caucus of Black Women and Girls Task Force, the Harold Washington College President's Advisory Board of Illinois, and the Council for Women and Girls. She is a true South Side girl and lives in the Chicago Chatham neighborhood. I want you to help me welcome to our platform for This Is My Story, our guest today, the CEO of Polished Pebbles, Kelly Fair. Welcome today. Did you unmute your mic, Kelly?
My
Unmute your mic.
bad.
Yeah, yeah, there you go. There you go.
I'm here
Welcome,
with you now.
welcome, welcome, welcome.
Thank you so much, Bishop. I'm so grateful to be here. I was looking, I think there was a memory on the screen on Facebook a while ago. And I want to say the last time we did this, it was 2015. Can you believe that?
Yeah, I was looking through my old YouTube files and I said, let me post this. I know if she sees, she'll get a kick out of it. Yeah, that's when we were starting an internet radio show of worship radio here in Detroit. And they've been calling me trying to get me back. They've upgraded now, they got television. And so I'm thinking about going back. But yes, I remember that. And the date is on there back in 2015 when I was scanning through and saw your program and heard about it. Yes.
So we go back.
Yes, good to see you and have you on again. And with all of the updates and with all of the great success that you have experienced, your program is second to none. And I say it again, like I said then, I haven't seen anything comparable to this. And when I said I was having you on again, remember I told you I had some people that might be interested. Now they calling me, they said, she's still doing it. I said, she's still doing it. And she's still networking. So now don't y'all play with me if I tell her you all are interested. Now don't make me look bad. Yeah, but thank you for taking the time and sharing with us. I know it's on a Sunday. This is usually a lot of time when a lot of us try to, chill. And
Right.
we've been in the midst of this pandemic and it's been something, but thank God we've all made it and we're still here to tell our story. So I just want you again, and I know this little hour or whatever is not enough time for you to really do justice to day one till today and how you've been blessed to help so many girls. I looked at that number, over 3,000 plus, and then now it's 5,000. Oh, that's phenomenal. So just walk us through the Kelly Fair story, all right?
Well, I appreciate this again at the platform and the opportunity to connect. We started building and contributing and sharing with each other's communities back in 2015. And you were very much a pioneer back then, connecting and expanding community in this way by having guests like myself as a part of the show. And now you continue to be a trailblazer and a pioneer here in the midst of, the pandemic as we just continue to push forward and support community. So I want to thank you and commend you for that. And providing this platform for, community servants like myself to tell our story. And I know it's important to tell the story about how we do what we do, because this is not so much really about Kelly Fair's story. It's the legacy of continuing the work of servant leadership. And for me, when I think about servant leadership and telling the story, I have to think about my minister who has made a transition some years ago, but I grew up here in Chicago as a Johnny Coleman baby at Christ Universal Temple. And I remember every anniversary month, every October, the final sermon was entitled, I Love to Tell a Story, where she told the story of how she, got her ministry started, and definitely was a pioneering female minister in the days where that was not believed to be something that was proper. So for me, continuing servant leadership, continue to serve our community. And for me specifically with my work with Polished Pebbles, serving girls, I appreciate the opportunity to tell my story, which is all of our stories. So I got started, Bishop, back in 2009. So in September next month, it will be 12 years since I founded Polished Pebbles Girls Mentoring Program. And I'm passionate about mentoring and supporting girls, thinking about communication, because I was a girl who was mentored. There were some successful women who gave their time, supported me in very early, my first job positions when I was like 13 years old at Dudley's Beauty College. Betty Clausen was the director of the Chicago chapter then. She's still the director now. And those women mentored me because I thought I wanted to be a cosmetologist at that time. They let me intern for that summer, 2 days a week, half days a week. I got paid nothing, but I was grateful to be in the mix because they put me to work. I learned responsibility. I was a shy girl when I first started at Dudley, but they put me on that cash register. They finally let me shampoo somebody's head the last day, and it broke me out of my shyness. And it really, they mentored me and taught me confidence and really helped me understand what success looked like and to think about a variety of different opportunities, college being one of them. So for me with Polished Pebbles, I wanted to keep the cycle of mentoring and this legacy of giving back going. And so I had left my corporate career as working in educational publishing and wanted to get back and to get more involved in supporting the youth in the communities on the South Side and the West Side in Chicago, like I had grown up, and get some mentorship like I was afforded the opportunity. And so I started off Polished Pebbles with the influence again of Christ Universal Temple and Johnny Coleman, and working in the youth ministries and the women's ministries and the girls groups. And I wanted to keep some of that work going and started Polished Pebbles with just 2 girls at the first meeting. I knew both of them. So I was like, y'all gonna stand to the side. But the powerful thing is when we put the call out, the women showed up to mentor. And we had a room full of 20 women. We put our heads together on a recruitment plan to get more girls in. Since that time, Bishop, we've served more than 5,000 girls in over 100 public schools, charter schools, public housing communities here in Chicago, down in Dallas, Texas, and also at Duke University in North Carolina. And we focus on girls being great communicators. Communication is key. It can help them break their shyness like I was when I was in 6th grade. But communication is that thing educators love because it helps the kids with the conflict resolution, with peer challenges, to respectfully communicate with adults. And we figured the best way to help girls engage in communication skills or figure out why that matters is to use the future workplace as the campus to teach them. So just like I worked at Dudley's at 13, 14 years old for my very first job, we've created that whole take your daughter or take your pebbles to work day experience for the girls in Polished Pebbles. And we partner with local, national, and even global businesses. And girls get to do, after 15 to 25 weeks of Polished Pebbles, a job shadow day with one of those partnering businesses like Bloomingdale's, Blue Cross Blue Shield, Microsoft, the Hyatt, engineering firms, small Black businesses like Two Fish and Pier 31. And they get to put all the life skills, all the communication skills that we taught them to work. And we work with tween girls and teenage girls. We give them summer work study programs through, some of my book, that Every Girl is the CEO. And so we're excited. This is a busy, busy summer for us. We've hired 100 tween and teen girls in our work study program. So they are getting paid, Bishop, and they are earning to learn career readiness skills. So we've come a long way in 12 years. Excited about continuing to tell the story, not just through my words, but of staff, of interns who have now come back to Polished Pebbles and now are managers. Our girls are alumni and coming back and starting their own nonprofits and working within the organization. So it's really been a blessing to see how the organization has grown, how people have been impacted. And I'm grateful to say that that whole community and even individuals and leaders like yourself have been doing a lot to help polish me and my leadership as a CEO of the organization. So it's been quite the journey.
And a journey it has been. You got this stuff down, so you articulate it so well and so quick, so precise. But let me back up, because I just heard you say some of your success stories. Some of the young ladies have come back, they're working with you. Now you got staff and you're able to hire, and they're getting paid. And then others are starting nonprofits themselves.
Absolutely.
What an accomplishment. What an accomplishment. And I'm saying that because not to compare, but I know of several people in our area who've endeavored, I don't know if they just got the wrong counsel or what, to try to start a mentoring program. There are a lot of programs here in our area. Most of them are co-ed and most of them are temporary. They're either summer or they're either seasonal for specific educational programs. Because here in the Detroit school system, we've had a lot of turnover, a lot of changes, charter schools and private schools. But for the public school system, there has been in the last few years a lack of specialty programming to prepare kids for college and to prepare them to go into certain areas. I mean, when I was in high school and all that, we had music classes, they had cooking classes, they had shop. Right. You know, young guys could learn how to work with their hands. We had all of these kind of special classes. We even had foreign language classes, a French class, a different language class, even from elementary school. But it's been a lot of changes, a lot of cuts, especially here in the fine arts area. And so some of our leading schools have tried to find their niche, and then to complement each other. So it's been really, I know it's been a problem here because you got to go to this school to get that, or go to another school to get that, and then the busing and the zoning and all of that. But your program, how is it you survived with this special program in the Chicago school system, and then you found a way to partner with them and other organizations? That how did you do that?
Yeah, no, I mean, I think that you bring up a really great point. None of us continue to exist without support, funding, resources. Community members have, you know, I always think of, again, back to my church roots. It was some of the ladies in church who would fold up that little check or a $20 bill and put it in my hands, and they bought the first granola bars and made the first photocopies when we first started. And those kind of resources and those dollars, they matter. There's lots of dollars and support and resources that matter. People who gave up their time to mentor girls or help build the capacity of the organization. Now, I'll say this one thing, Bishop. People are tired of seeing what they see in the news and the headlines and stuff on TV. Yeah. You know, people are more wanting to get involved to say, what do we do about the young people? How can I get involved? And so I see my role as a leader of an organization like Polished Pebbles, not to just impact girls, but to create spaces and places for concerned community members who say, I want to do something. And so my job is to create opportunities for them to do it, to invest in girls, to impact in girls. So I think that's been part of it. I think the other thing that's important in that whole formula for letting folks and bringing folks in is that willingness and that humility. I learned a lot of that in working in the faith-based institutions too, to constantly allow yourself to be polished and be taught and allow people to bring their gifts. And so through those concerned community members, they help build our capacity. You know, they may have provided some pro bono professional services, accounting, you know, other things to help build websites and make logos. People just hit and share. You know what that power is. Share on Facebook, liking it on Instagram. You know, those things are really important. And that kind of gets you down a road of partnerships. So I always say the Polished Pebbles world, people make the world go round. The partnerships make the world go round. And so I thought it was critically important to allow community members in to support it. Then they give you ideas, and then they give you ideas about how to support with larger organizations to do so. How do you do it? You got to be clear on what your mission is. How do you do it? You got to sacrifice and give some time. I hear a lot of times people, Bishop, and they say, well, I want to start a nonprofit, but nobody gave me any money. Nobody gave me any money in the beginning either. And so, but it takes that time to continue to commit, sacrifice, learn your craft, be able to figure out how to write grants, but you got to know what you're doing. And so What is your program about? Who do you serve? Are you consistent with it? Who does it? You know, so there's lots of opportunities out there for people to learn. And, you know, University of Chicago had a program I was in, a community programs accelerated that taught us a lot of skills to get there. There's a lot of consultants and things like that, but you got to be willing to want to work with people. And that ain't always sexy. It ain't always cute. And it ain't always easy. So it takes that ability to have those strong communication skills, being very clear on your mission, and also thinking on your feet to say, what's the benefit to them? You know, so what's the benefit to a company to participate and mentor your girls? What's the benefit to this parent or this community of girls for teenage girls? So you've got to be able to think about the benefits of all the different stakeholders who are involved with your work as to why they should be involved with supporting and working directly with you. And it takes training, and it's a skill, and it takes making mistakes and taking risks. And it takes study. I think that's the key. Study to show yourself approved. So
under God, yes.
Yes. So it takes study and time to figure out the craft, but connecting with people, I think is critically important, Bishop, to create those connections and the resources and the help and the sponsorships, or figuring out how to do business with the government, the city, the county, the state, foundations. They help make the world go round. So you've got to really get connected with people.
Yeah, I'm glad you brought all that out. You know, one of my mentors, the late oldest Bishop Floyd out of Flint, Michigan, New Jerusalem Baptist Church, told us in class one day, he said, listen, son, if you study, it'll show. If you don't study, it'll show. Either way, it will show. And a lot of people don't understand the personal sacrifices of your time, your life, your own personal resources to do this. And it's almost as if your life is centered around your ministry, your vision. I mean, this is your baby, Polished Pebbles,
right.
And all that you do. So we understand the sacrifices that are needed. And a lot of people are just not willing to do that. And that's why they sitting on the sidelines watching.
Right. And I want to say this too, Bishop. I always have to give a shout out to my parents and to my family. My family, you know, have supported from day one, had my back. We had a daddy-daughter dance. I made my grandpa, my uncles, my dad, everybody was at that. So, you know, they were the first attendees, first supporters, first donors, and have continued to be great supporters and advisors to me throughout that time. So, you know, great connections of family and good friends and things like that have really helped, you know, form that foundation. So shout out to praying and supportive parents.
Yes. That's always important. When I tell me this about your publications, the birth of your first book, and then especially, I get it, that title, Every Girl is a CEO. I mean, that's an eye catcher alone. And it's also an inspiration, I'm sure. Just the title, when a young lady see that the title of that book, I'm sure they become inquisitive and want to grab it and open it up immediately to see what you're talking about and if that's really possible for them. So give us an idea how you were blessed and inspired to author these books.
No, I appreciate that. I had no real aspirations. I want to say I published my first book back in 2016. Author was not a title that I was looking for. But in doing this work, and I want to say this goes back to the days, you know, about 6-7 years ago, where I didn't have an office, or we might have, but Starbucks. Shout out to Sip and Savor. It's a local Black-owned coffee shop here in Chicago. Those were my offices where I would meet with my team, my staff, sometimes do some of my work. And once I was having a meeting with one of my team members, and there's a gentleman sitting at the table next to us, and I always jokingly say he was ear hustling our meeting and in our conversation, but his name was Patrick Oliver. And I want to give a shout out to Patrick Oliver. He's currently based down in Dallas, but he is Little Rock, Arkansas, born and raised. But has been dynamic in the literary world, and definitely supporting independent authors for years and years and years. And he was a gentleman sitting next to me, heard me talk about Polished Pebbles, heard us talk about our curriculum and what we were doing. And he said, I'm sorry to ear hustle, but he said, you all should think about writing a book, you know? And so he, you know, interviewed me a little bit further, and he kind of sparked my interest. And that's where I, you know, he assists me in, you know, putting together and walking me through the self-publication process. So these are self-published books. And that first one was They're All the Same Girl. And so for me, my passion then was to share, at 7 years of doing Polished Pebbles, the lessons that we had learned in growing a youth program, a mentoring program. Because like you mentioned earlier, there's a lot of people who aspire to do that work and don't know where to start and kind of need a blueprint for that too. And then even for those who don't want to start an organization, if you just want to stay in the game and stay motivated and thinking about our young people just as an individual mentor or donor or volunteer, we thought that this would be a great book for them too. So it gives lessons about the risks that you need to take in running a nonprofit or a mentoring organization. The same kind of risk we think about in for-profit, you got to do the same things when it comes to running a community organization or a nonprofit, or the type of faith that's necessary. I say to people all the time, the faith that's necessary to be a social entrepreneur and to start an organization. There's some chapters in there where I talk about that and reflect back to Mary Peaks, who was one of the sisters back in the day during slavery that was teaching slaves. She was teaching slaves how to read. And she didn't know that slavery was going to end at some point, but she had the faith that if she equipped them with the skills and taught them how to read and provide that level of intellectual freedom for them, the faith was at some point slaves would be free and they would definitely need to know how to read. And I think that type of faith is the type of faith that you have to have as a social entrepreneur and building a youth mentoring organization and just mentoring a kid on your own. You know, it's challenging. If you think about the things and the changes we go through as adults, you know, imagine what young people are going through at this time. And sometimes we forget that. And we've decided we're going to mentor little Tatiana or the little brother on the block or at my church. And it can be challenging. And sometimes you may want to give up or not see how valuable your input is. And it takes a lot of faith to get there. So that's that. They're All the Same Girl. Again, people can find that links for that book on www.polishedpebbles.com or www.kellykfair.com, and they can find those books there. And then I'm so proud of my latest baby, which is Every Girl's a CEO. You mentioned that too, Bishop. And it's a career success guide for girls of color. And I'm excited. It is the only book like that out there on the market. And it's really based off the 12 years of building a Polished Pebbles program and curriculum where we focus on building those communication skills so it becomes a career pipeline for girls who want to move into preparing for the future workplace. But Bishop, we want girls not to just prepare for the future workplace. We want to build the young ladies who become the leaders that will help shape the future workplace and make it a more inclusive environment, a more readily available environment and accessible for all communities and girls all over. And so, yes, it is exactly a catchy title, and we want girls to help discover their own inner CEO. So in this guide, they can see great stories about women who were successful, who provide the blueprint for their own particular success. They share stuff about their very first jobs, whether it was babysitting, working at the movie theater. Our Congresswoman, Robin Kelly, in the 2nd District here in Illinois, tells a story about how she helped at 8 years old, run the cash register at her grandparents' grocery store in Harlem, New York. And so it's those stories, the resume, the toolbox, CEO pen pals, looking and being able to look at the various careers that are available in different industries and learning about the requirements there for them. That's all in this guide, Every Girl's a CEO. And Bishop, it really came from all the years of running Polished Pebbles. We get those partnerships with companies and they say, hey, we got a summer program. Hey, we got an internship. Do you have any girls who are available? And we pull a girl and kind of get them together. And Bishop, when it comes to women in the workplace, we talk about the gender pay gap. We talk about the gender corporate leadership gap. With the girls in the Black and brown communities that we serve here in Chicagoland and Indiana, we are dealing with what I like to call the hope gap. You know, they don't have necessarily the hope that's necessary to even think that they're capable of getting to the boardroom, let alone a summer internship at a corporation. And so if they only see the 4 to 6 blocks radius in their homes and in their communities, they may not see a lot of opportunities. So we built this because as we were building girls up for different opportunities, they would say, well, I don't think that they want us. I tried to get a job at the grocery store. They don't want girls like me to work there. And so for us, the mantra became, girl, every girl's a CEO. You could get ready and take this job. They need you. They want you. And you get to talking to them more, Bishop, about, well, what do you do after school? What are your grades like? Good grades. Help take care of brothers and sisters and maybe nieces and nephews and get them ready for school, walk them to school, feed them, pick them up, walk them home. What else do you do? Oh, I braid hair on the side. I do lashes. Plus I work at the pizza place after school. And we're like, girl, that's executive functioning. That's being the CEO right now. So if you can handle that, if you can move through that, you can definitely handle this summer internship. You've got the skills, you've got the rigor. All we want to do is help them close that hope gap and give them the skills, give them the tools. And you can use this in your churches, in your schools, in your communities, in your girls groups. And that's the perfect pieces that are ready to work with girls to help them discover their inner CEO and get started on a pipeline of the career paths that they would choose and the ones that many of us are going to be exposing them to. So again, they can get Every Girl's a CEO on polishpebbles.com or go to www.kellykfair.com and get a copy of Every Girl's a CEO for the girls in their lives, their school districts, faith-based community organizations as well.
Okay, yes, all of that. Listen, friends, y'all right here with me, Kelly Fair, I mean, is articulating it all. And you need to get this. You need to get those publications and get those books so you can have your own personal copy. Now let me ask you this. If you can recall the very first success story of your alumni who came back to share with Polished Pebbles, who might be still with you or gone on in other successes, and how that got started, where those that went through your program and they've gone maybe to high school, college, or whatever, and they've come back now to give back. What has that been like for Kelly to see all of that come to fruition? Absolutely. So, I mean, it's become a joy of my life, you know, and it's that reminder as to why we do the work, especially when the work is as hard as it is, especially when the market is made to be as competitive as it is for funding and for opportunities. There are a lot of times, quite frankly, you feel like giving up, and it's like, I could have kept my corporate job, you know, had things be way easier. But when you're able to see the fruits of your labor and students like Ariel Tellis, she was one of our very first Polished Pebbles alum, come back and talk about the impact of Polished Pebbles. And it was funny to me, Bishop, too, because Ariel was with us in like 7th grade. She was in our first group. And I did not think she liked Polished Pebbles. She was one of those kids I said, oh, your mama making you come to this. It's cool. I get it. But years later, I saw her type on Facebook and copy me or tag me in a post. And she was talking about how much of an impact Polished Pebbles had on her. And I was just amazed because, again, you know, sometimes some kids, you're not sure what they're getting out of it, but you just have to, again, you know, continue, as part of my story, moves in faith and do what God has appointed you to do and how he's directing you to move. And sure enough, she talked about the impact of Polished Pebbles on her. And then she was that point, a college student at the University of Illinois down in Champaign-Urbana. And Ariel ended up starting her own young ladies organization for women of color. And then she said, hey, can I bring
the current Polished Pebbles girls, the young 8th graders and high school students down in University of Illinois and do a campus tour. And so she hosted our girls down there on a campus and gave them a college tour and talked about what would make them successful in college. So to see them come and give back, Ariel is so dynamic. Not only did she finish at University of Illinois, she went on to become a Fulbright Fellow and studied in Italy, and now is finishing, I think now her 2nd year in law school at Yale University. And so Ariel is definitely one of our success stories. But Bishop, I'm proud of every single one of the girls who come through our program, where you'll continue to push forward. You continue to give it your best. You continue to take that pencil and that eraser and say, okay, that was yesterday. Okay, that was an hour ago. But I'm going to keep trying to be open-minded and push forward and find opportunities for myself. I think is critically important. And I'll share one more success story with you as well, Bishop, and that's Addison Balone. So Addison is now, I think, 14 years old. She started us out with us on our Saturday program at 9. Was shy, didn't have a whole bunch of confidence at that time, but she's grown through our programs. And it was in one of our special programs last summer called the Mommy and Me Business Program. She was interested in creating a photography and a videography business. And she and her mom worked together all summer, Adrienne McGee, and is our mom. And they created a business plan and pitched it in the Mommy and Me program in the Shark Tank. And everybody in that program wants some seed money. Since that time, Addison has had clients for her business. We are one of them. But Addie has just really taken off. She just directed her first film that was on display a couple weeks ago. We've worked with her and trained her. She's now on the Lieutenant Governor's Illinois Council for Girls as well. So she's really taken off, and that's where we're looking to continue to create opportunities. We create this incubator with girls here in Polished Pebbles, and then we want to prep them for those outside experiences. So she becomes a role model for the rest of our girls. And then she continues to see, as she shines, what is possible for her, that inner CEO, which then can take her beyond the block. It can take her beyond the city, beyond the state, and take her to wherever she wants to go. And so I'm excited to see that. We got a powerful summer this summer, Bishop, and some of my alumni have been tagging our work study program, where we hired 100 girls this summer, and they've been bringing their nieces and recommending their little cousins. So our alumni are on the move and doing big things, and continue to grow on a path with us and helping the organization grow. So I'm extremely grateful for that.
Oh, that's awesome. Listen, you have been interviewed on radio stations locally and some international networks. And most recently, not too long ago, you were on Kelly Clarkston's show right there. What kind of experience was that? I mean, you're talking about on those kind of platforms to speak of your community work and all that you do through Polished Pebbles. What was that experience like?
Oh, it was powerful. I mean, I think when I got the phone call, my assistant said, "Hey, on Friday, are you available to be on Kelly Clarkson?" I thought it was a joke, or she was punking me or something. I'm like, are you for real? But what a wonderful opportunity. And Kelly is a wonderful spirit, just so down to earth and easy to connect with and talk to. And she's really committed to highlighting individuals and communities doing work and inspiring others. So we're grateful for that platform. It was awesome. And then guess what? We did it last year in the midst of the shutdown. So, the opportunity to connect with her and have that national platform and do it right here in my house on Zoom, and that kind of was definitely a learning experience. But here was the kicker. As they prep you for shows like that, like you mentioned, I've done a lot of radio and local and regional and things like that, and definitely local news and TV. But national TV is something different. So you very much you go through a lot of prep to get ready. And one of the things they kept telling me, Bishop, was like, well, it's okay if you cry. And I'm just like, well, what am I going to be crying about? It's nothing in this script, it's the Polished Pebbles story, nothing in here that I can see that would make me want to cry. But just in case, I took a little piece of tissue and put it under my leg, you know, just to have. And we came back from one of the commercial breaks, and they said, well, Kelly doesn't know this, but that mentee Ariel Tellis that she was talking about is an alumni, is on the line. So the young lady I was just sharing with you, Ariel, one of our alumni, they surprised me with her. And she popped up on the show and talked about the experience and the impact. And so I finally understood why they kept trying to nudge me to have some tissue and think about tears, because the waterworks, my makeup, all the tears. So I was grateful for the support, for the platform, for the introduction to some of the resources that they were able to give us and for our work. But definitely, I was right before my birthday last year in September, and I couldn't have gotten a better birthday gift than that, and to see, you know, one of our beautiful alumni like Ariel, you know, have the, you know, come and share with me too. So I was extremely grateful.
Yeah, awesome. It was an awesome show. We were able to catch it in our time zone here in Detroit. So I remember that. So Kelly, with all of your current affiliations and your presence on several all important boards. I mean, the Harold Washington College President Advisory Board, and working with the United States Congressional Caucus on Black women. I mean, just those two alone, and Polished Pebbles, and then all the other things that you do right there in your own city. What is your day like out of 24 hours, you know, when it comes to start time and finish time, if there's such a thing for you?
Every day is different. There are rarely days that are the same. And so, you know, one of the things that I'm passionate about, Bishop, is not only creating more opportunities to impact more girls and, you know, have dynamic programming that's really impactful and effective. I want to replace myself because this is how we keep the legacy and keep these programs and keep our communities continuing to grow, is that I'm not trying to do this and be in this spot, in this space forever. It's being very intentional about giving back and creating the next generation of mentors and youth program providers and executive directors. So, you know, one of the things that I'm always talking to the individuals and the early professionals on our team, or, you know, college students, as I'm introducing and talking about my book and some of the lessons there, is that you really do have to be committed. And because I do want to impact the rest of my staff, which has grown tremendously, we've got about 15 to 20 people on staff at this point. My day can start sometimes at 3, 4 o'clock in the morning to do some of the things that I need to get moved and done before the rest of the day starts, you know, and working with staff as they're reaching out and they're needing support or my thought or input on different projects. I think the other thing that's critically important when you think about what is a day like in the life of a social entrepreneur, your life is really about volunteers and people who give their time and sponsors. And so you're constantly making yourself available for those opportunities and for those individuals that send you that random email and say, we have some funding, but we're interested in giving back. Can you make time to tell me about it? So I am doing everything from maybe working with my team. Sometimes I still do guest speaking with some girls organizations, working with great elected officials like Congresswoman Robin Kelly, supporting the group of Illinois' Lieutenant Governor, Juliana Stratton, as we're trying to take our experiences of things that I've experienced with Polished Pebbles here locally in Chicago and share those lessons and learn from other practitioners all throughout the state of Illinois, or other women who are doing work similar to mine throughout the country through the U.S. Congressional Caucus for Black Women and Girls, or speak to a company or receive a check, or, you know, so you gotta pivot. So when we got into the pandemic, I mean, we definitely had to do some hard pivoting to going from being 100% in-person business to being 100% virtual business. But that's all I do every day. Pivot, switch, change, meeting, cancel. Can you talk effectively and communicate effectively with girls? Can you communicate effectively with this audience and that audience? And that's why I often tell the girls that we serve and a lot of the Black girls that we serve too. As a Black woman, I'm all things. I can be exactly who I need to be out here on the south side or the west side or in the south suburbs, or when I need to go downtown to the financial district and work with a stakeholder, go down to our state capitol in Springfield, or go represent our work in Washington, D.C. at the Congressional Black Caucus. You know, so it's being able to communicate and convey and tell your story and the stories of those that we serve to a wide variety of audiences to continue to give people support. So everything is, every day is different. You got to be willing and want to work with the team and be available. Every day, but I work out. I make sure I carve out time for me, and my personal life and my personal time is very important for me as well. So as much as I give, I know that if I'm not filling my own cup first, and making sure that I'm continuing to stay engaged in the work, I'm continuing to stay excited by the work, starting new stuff and new projects. It's my blank canvas, Bishop. So it's like, I like the blank canvas, and I could take my paint and design and discover what I want to do, try new things and new ideas that God has inspired me to do, or people bring to me, and really not do all the work, but work with the team of people who, you know, they get excited and they can implement what we do too.
Well, that's to your credit that you're able to groom and to prepare a solid, skillful, professional staff that they can, you can delegate and continue to move on. And I like what you said, that a lot of us still got to learn. Some of them are getting it, is that you're preparing for the next generation, and you're not planning to sit in that seat forever, but you wanna prep somebody so when the time do come, smooth transition, and Polished Pebbles can live and grow even the more, go to the next level. I think that is so important for the African American community. To learn that lesson. You know, some of them getting it and some of them not, but just to hear you say that is a blessing and a credit to your humility and your leadership of excellence. Well, listen, let me ask you this. Now that we're winding down and we're prayerfully believing God, we can finally get through the rest of this pandemic. I mean, it's caused a lot of stagnation to some things, and now we got another threat of this Delta variant, all that. But looking ahead for yourself and Polished Pebbles, I know, like you said, you got the blank canvas already up, and you're beginning to look ahead to see what direction you're going to go in, how you can add to and continue to complement what you've already accomplished. Where do you see yourself in the next 3 to 5 years?
Sure. So I think continuing my work in advocacy, you know, so one of the things is, as we've talked a lot about, and I'm starting to see reports, I'm part of a organization, a coalition on urban girls, and it's a collective of girl serving organizations here in the city of Chicago. And we're doing a report soon about what it's been like for us as girl serving organizations in COVID, in the pandemic. I think one piece that's important is grooming the next Kelly Fair is not only training her, but it's also making sure the public is so aware of how important it is to support women, how important it is to support women and women of color in leadership, to trust our leadership, and how to support and make sure that you support organizations for girls and women. Bishop, only 1% of all charitable dollars in the world go to programs supporting women and girls. And that's all women and girls. So you can imagine how what one small piece of that 1% goes to women and girls of color. And so we need advocates like me who have put in some great work and veteran experience on the ground to talk about, here's what we need. Here's how you can support us. Here's the ways that you groom more Kelly Fairs and better than Kelly Fairs to make the work that we do grow and become more impactful. So I want to grow in my leadership, and that's working with across sectors like I do now, working with elected officials, convening people. People jokingly call me the architect of girl success. And I love that title because I do love putting the people together and say, if we do this over here in Indiana, if I get with Bishop, we could do something in Detroit and replicate and build and grow based on some of the work that we've been doing. So that's definitely how I see my career continuing to grow, being able to share at universities, impact the next generation of social work, next generation of youth program providers, working with other girls organizations here in this Midwest region, but also nationally and globally. We're all the same girl all over the world. And so one of the things that we're doing that I see as a start for that work, Bishop, in October, we're having an Every Girl is the CEO Global. Did you hear that? Global Career Conference. We did it last year in the pandemic for Polished Pebbles, and we had girls from across the country and even a young lady from India. So we said, God can work this out. Let's go for it. And I pulled in some partners I've met years ago and did some work with in South Africa and African Tekin. So not only are we going to have girls here in the US participate in this Every Girl CEO conference, we're going to have girls from South Africa. 30 of them will be participating too. So girls from here in the States, Black and brown girls working with girls in South Africa will be building their career skills and meeting with some powerful women in a variety of sectors and careers in October. So folks need to sign up for that. www.polishedpebbles.com. Get your young lady signed up for that. It's free. I mean, it's a no-brainer. And then plus, Bishop, I gotta say this, I gotta throw that in. I need people to sponsor girls, and that you could see that links and start finding that information on our social media pages too. Sponsor a girl to participate in the conference, the girls in South Africa and the girls right here in our hood too.
Wow, that's awesome. And you say that's going to be in October.
October 16th. Yep, October 16th. So people should start looking out for that. Think about, like you said, we had girls from Ohio, we had some girls from Michigan, we had girls from Vegas, Nevada, a couple of different states, California, Florida, globally. But yep, it'll be October 16th. It's free and open to the public. They can find the information and sign a girl up in their lives. And so that's the powerful thing the pandemic has brought. It's brought us this opportunity to continue to build community and do it virtually. And we got some powerful women from Florida. We got the first Black female fire chief from down there that's going to be participating in the conference. I've got a U.S. Congresswoman from California that'll be a part of the conference. And then my partners in South Africa have got some women and some CEOs who are going to show up. It's going to be a dynamic day. You can't afford not to, even in the midst of COVID-19, not support girls' ability to dream and support the girls in your lives and churches. We want them too. So, shout out to your communities and your networks too, Bishop. We love to sign their daughters and their girls up.
Now people can come, and you say it's free, it's open to the public. And now are you into accommodating for certain hotels that you're going to be engaging for this particular affair? Yeah. It's virtual.
It's virtual.
All virtual.
It's all virtual. So girls by you can come and sign up in Detroit and Flint. That's why I'm opening up to your connection to your community, because it's a no-brainer. I mean, all she got to do is log on, and it's free, and she gets connected to this network of girls and this community of women who are doing nothing that day but pouring into them and talking about careers and opportunities that they probably hadn't even considered.
Wow. That's going to be awesome. Free. Y'all hear what we saying? Free
99
online. It's going to be October 16th. What is the time that day?
I believe we get started about 10 a.m. or so. So it'll be, like a half-day conference. So it works, and that's the other thing. We got to stay committed to helping our young people get opportunities. When the opportunity comes and they say, well, I don't know if she want to do it. Well, she only 11 or 12. She don't know what possibilities are there. And that's where we as the adults and the community members have to give that push and that shove and say, so what? You don't know all them girls. Don't matter. It's a dynamic opportunity. Give it a chance. Give it a try.
Right. Well, you have networked and you've brought together an impressive roster of presenters. I mean, like you say, it's a no-brainer. Why not
Right?
attend October 16th? What else is there to do on October 16th? But get on here and get this information. I am excited about that. I think I'm coming. I'm gonna turn on the computer
I love it.
and find out what's
You're gonna be
going
a
on.
CEO. You're gonna be a CEO for the day too, huh?
Listen, might as well. I mean, you know, and I think, well, I don't want to jump into that because I'll be putting folk who don't even know they're being put on Front Street. And I tell people all the time, this procrastination and this, I'm like, if not now, then when? You know,
Right.
come on, y'all.
Right.
It's so much to be done in this area. And I know, like I said, in the city of Detroit, we see what's going on when it comes to programming, and I did not know that statistic, but I'm glad you brought that out. And it drives me to do even furthermore research in our area.
Right.
1%.
1%. Isn't that amazing?
And that's global, not just
That's the
nation.
whole wide world. All the money that goes to all the charities, only 1% goes to organizations that support women and girls.
That is unheard of. I mean, I'm thinking that the percentage might even be better than that. So again, that leads me to say kudos and blessings, and I'm cheering the Black women on, especially women in our community like yourself, who are just making it happen. And that statistic is startling. I mean, and against all odds, you survived, and you're here, and you're getting it done. This is exciting. Well, let me ask you this.
It's only because of a strong Polished Pebbles team. So I love my team.
Yeah.
It brings me joy working with them, our staff, our interns, our coordinators. I've got a lot of seasoned staff members who really help polish us and teach us and help us grow. So shout out to the Polished Pebbles team and for all that they do to continue to grow our work and help it become even more substantial.
Yeah. Let me ask you this last question on that business end. Bank of America Global Ambassador, that particular position for you, I mean, is that one that they consult you consistently on matters of the community and how you can represent them, or how they can better participate based on your recommendations?
Yeah, no, it's
how did that connection work?
The Global Ambassadors Program was an initiative through a partnership with Bank of America and another organization out of Washington, D.C. called Vital Voices, dynamic organization. And Bank of America has continued to be a supporter of our work over the years as well. And so what they did is, and they go to different places throughout the globe. In those cities, and Chicago was one of the cities at that time, they'd invite female social entrepreneurs from all over the world and bring us, and did a really intensive training for that particular week. And then not only did we get to connect and work with each other as peers and talk about our challenges and identify gaps and areas that we wanted to strategically grow, we got a dynamic mentors that each one of us got hooked up with that we worked with personally throughout the week. So Tabby Holland was my mentor, and she's American born, but she works over in Switzerland and is a pro in workforce development, and brought her years of experience, her years of global experience to help me think through how I do what Polished Pebbles. And I'm gonna say this too, Bishop, you know, we talk to the girls all the time about opening their eyes and, you know, understanding their innate leadership ability. Wow, can you imagine how my eyes were opened up about my innate leadership ability? I'm a Polished Pebble too. So to be able to sit in a room with women, with organizations all over, from countries all over the world, and feel comfortable and confident and find my voice in that room, that what we do with Polished Pebbles here in Chicago and Indiana and states here, US, matters, that it had impact and inspire others. And then we got to learn from that too. So that global community piece, I think, is critically important. And shout outs to Bank of America and, of course, Vital Voices for continuing to create a whole portfolio of strong initiatives to support women in business and social entrepreneurship like myself, because they have just been investing to make sure that we continue to grow what we do, support what we do, bring other resources and sponsors. They just hooked me up with another really great organization that's contributing to our work as well. So it was a dynamic program by two dynamic organizations that continue to support and plant seeds with organizations like Polished Pebbles.
Great, great.
Mm-hmm.
Oh wow, this has been really an awesome experience. What I'd like for you to do, if you don't mind,
Sure.
before we end the day, I don't want to take up all your day. Such a I don't know what it's doing in Chicago, but it's been
It's
raining
beautiful.
here. It's raining here
Oh,
again. Lord
okay.
Jesus.
It's a beautiful day here.
Great, great. Listen, take a minute, if you will. There might be those that are looking to mirror what you're doing, or some young lady, some young woman might be listening or might see this at another time and just need somebody to inspire them to speak into their life and say to them, nothing's impossible with God. With God, all things are possible. But at the same time, you've got to start. Faith
Right.
without works is dead, and you've
Absolutely.
got to move forward. So
Yep.
if you will, just take a minute and inspire our audience.
No, absolutely. I mean, I think that's so key and important that if that desire has been put on your heart, you know it comes from God. And so no idea comes to you without being fully clothed. So when I say that, that means that, you know, it's fully clothed with the right people that will eventually come into your walk and into your life and into your business and sow seeds and help close the gaps of knowledge that you may need or provide the resources that you may need. I will never forget with two girls in my first meeting, I said, oh my goodness, what are we doing? We don't have enough girls. But because the idea of Polished Pebbles came fully clothed, the women that did show up to mentor said, let's put our heads together. We can help you figure out a recruitment plan and how to build this program. And so I think everything comes, Bishop, I think one of the things I would share with the young women or young, you know, gentlemen or whoever who's thinking about, I want to start, I want to move, I want to grow, or even grow in my career. Oh, humility is important. When you are a servant leader, there is no hat that is not good enough for you. So that means as a CEO, you are sometimes, yes, the face and doing interviews and global and accepting checks. And that's a part of it. But when a team member catches COVID or their family is having a hard time, you're going to have to sometimes wear their hat and humble yourself. When it means that sometimes somebody calls up and that's one of those people who help you in the beginning stages. You are always going to be a student to someone and learning and growing. So that humility, and actually one of the ministers that I grew up in that church, and she just passed away recently a few months ago, the Reverend Helen Carey. As I was growing Polished Pebbles, I called to just check in with her one time, and I was sharing with her, we were working on a new initiative, and I said, well, you know, I'm a little nervous. She said, that's a good thing. That means you're staying humble. So I think that humility is hugely important because you're always learning. You're always on the journey. So as we're thinking about the youth and the young people and the communities that we want to help them journey and grow and be better, you got to be committed to that growth too. And people follow leaders who show their scars, who have that transparency, who show that level of humility of how they're being and having human experiences and growing through something. So I think that piece is huge. I think the movements that we have out now are teaching young people to find their voice and set boundaries and say, hey, I'm for this, but I'm not for that. And I think that's dynamic. But I think it's important also to get you some learning and you got to be open to it. And that is a part of the process. Embrace it, take it all in and find yourself to constantly be a student. And I think when you do that, you'll be successful in any organization, any business, any master's degree, bachelor's degree, high school degree, whatever it is you choose to embark upon. When you embrace that spirit of being a student and constantly learning, you will be successful.
Couldn't have said it better. Just thank you so much. You are a woman of wisdom beyond your years, as the old folk used to tell us. I mean, and we thank God for all of them who saw something in you, poured into you, and now we are better because of that. And you're continuing the legacy. You're like an open faucet. It just flows right on through you to those that need it. What a joy, what a blessing it is. Listen, I want to thank you for taking your Sunday afternoon and sharing with us once again. And certainly of all of the information that concerns October 16th, please send it to me so we can share it. There's some key people I want to involve and share that information with. And we will continue networking. And like you said, here in Detroit, we have nothing such as what's going on in Chicago, the way you put it together. So we ain't got to reinvent the wheel. It's done, you know. So I want to appreciate you and thank God for it. There it is. Every girl is a CEO. Yeah. Listen, y'all got to get your copy and make sure you read it and share it. So as we end today, thank those of you that might have jumped on, those of you that will see this later. We pray that this will be a help to you and you will learn something from the master CEO herself, Kelly Fair, who have shared. I mean, she's held nothing back, just full disclosure, and shared her personal story and her walk. And we want to thank you for that. And then listen, as we end, I want to share a word of prayer as we always do. And we'll be looking forward to next week. But let's pray. Father, we thank you for this shared time with Kelly Fair today. We thank you for choosing to use her as your honored vessel and for all that you've done in her, with her, and through her, the vision that you've given her, the creativity and the ability to accomplish what she's accomplished thus far, not only for her community, but for your glory. We thank you for every individual life, each of these young women's lives that she's touched since the very beginning of Polished Pebbles. And now, God, we pray the prayer of the word, Psalms 90 and 17. And we pray that let the beauty of the Lord our God be upon her. Establish the work of thy hands upon her. Yea, the work of thy hands establish thou it. We pray that God, whatever her hands touch, you will cause it to prosper. Bless her now, God. Give her the desires of her heart, whatever she stands in need of, spiritually, mentally, physically, emotionally, financially. Supply her need according to your riches in glory by Christ Jesus. And we pray now that you will continue to go before her, make easy and successful her way, and that those whose lives she touched, their lives will be edified, and ultimately, God, you will be glorified. And we praise you for her life now in Jesus' name. Amen and thank God. Amen. Thank you so much, Kelly. Thank you. And we appreciate you. And whenever we get a chance to come to Chicago, we'll be trying to just send a message to you and holler at you and see if we can get a chance to finally meet. Because I've been to Chicago so many times since we met on the phone, you know. I'll say this, some of our friends, we continue to stay in touch, you know. In the midst of all of this, I lost my good cousin, my friend, Maceo Woods, Christian Tabernacle. Yeah. And, but I thank God for the Chicago family, especially our musical family, all of those that work with us Fred Nelson was just here
Oh,
for the premiere of Aretha Franklin movie. You know, he was the MD, shared with some of our
well, I
musicians
know,
here. That,
and I know Fred from Christ Universal Temple.
right, right.
Yeah, yeah.
He played there many years. So we just thank God. So Kelly, listen, continued success to you. And anything we can do here in Detroit, just drop me a line and we'll come running. All
Okay,
right.
sounds
Thank
good.
you, friends,
so
for
much,
joining
Bishop.
us. All right, bless you. And
All
I
right.
want to command the blessings of the Lord to overtake all of you till next week. This time, Bishop Andre Wood saying, I love you with the love of Christ.